everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. As you can see from the title and thumbnail of today's video, today we're going to be talking about Matt Walsh and how he is calling for conservatives, and by extension Christians, to unite with the woke right in the name of defeating the left. This is actually my third time filming this video because I recently upgraded to the newest version of OBS and my recording settings got all jangled and mangled and whatnot, and so I had to basically reset everything. And my first couple tries there were huge visual problems with my recording. So I think I've got that all squared away now, and we're going to get right into the video. Now, what's ironic about Matt Walsh calling for conservatives and Christians to unite with the woke right today is that 8 years ago, he actually said that the woke right was just as bad as the woke left, and we should have nothing to do with them, and that the woke right and the woke left deserved each other. Which is why, if you go to Blaze Media back in August of 2017, you will find an article by Matt Walsh titled, "Dear Alt-Right White Supremacists and Leftist Antifa Thugs, You Deserve Each Other." Now, this was an article written in response to the Charlottesville incident, but when you go to the second half of the article, you read something that can very easily apply today because the woke right and the woke left have gotten way worse in the last 8 years. This is what Matt Walsh said. "I do not bring this up in order to minimize the most recent terrorist atrocity, but to paint a more complete picture of the situation. It is especially important that we look at the whole picture because that picture is only going to get worse." Ironic. "Leftist rioters now feel validated, so they will grow bolder and more dangerous. These alt-right racists and Nazis are equally as unlikely to have a change of heart. Back and forth we will go as our culture circles the drain. You will notice one thing as our death spirals get faster and faster. The terrorists on both sides will become ever more indistinguishable. As they clash with one another in the streets, it will be hard to tell one from the other. The only thing that will mark them as distinct is the flag they carry. But apart from that swastika, or that hammer and sickle, they will be and currently are virtually identical. Indeed, the similarities between the alt-right white supremacist and the leftist Antifa thug are impossible to miss. They are both obsessed with identity politics. They are both racist. They are both fascist authoritarians who care more about dominating the opposition than protecting the freedoms of all Americans. They are both lonely and desperate for attention. They are both nihilists. They both lack purpose or direction in their lives. They are both morally defective. They both could have used stronger male role models growing up. They are both driven by equal parts hatred and boredom, and so on. These degenerates mirror each other in just about every way. They are each other. They are twins, separated by circumstance, and reunited in the streets where they throw rocks and fists at their own reflections. I am not convinced that either group really cares all that much about their respective ideologies. I think they mostly just want to shout at people and burn stuff. Nihilism and indifference is what fuels them. The problem is not that they care too deeply about an issue, or even that they care in the wrong way and about the wrong things, but that they don't care about much of anything at all. They have led aimless and directionless lives, and in the banners they have taken up and in the chaos they bring to our cities, they find a little spark of life in their darkened souls. They find something to do, a purpose, even more important, an enemy. And the enemy they have found is exactly like themselves. They deserve each other. And, I'm sorry to say, we deserve them. God help us all. Back when Matt Walsh's head was screwed on straight, he realized that the woke right and the woke left are equally evil and are very similar to each other in a wide variety of ways. But fast forward to October of 2025, and Matt Walsh is saying something completely different. He said on October 14th on his Twitter account, "The right doesn't stick together. That's our biggest problem by far. Conservatives are quick to denounce each other, jump on dog piles, disavow, attack their allies. I said a few weeks ago that we all need to band together in the wake of Charlie's death, and the answer I got back from a lot of people on the right was basically no. Well, okay then, guys, we'll just lose instead. The left will keep up the united front and defend their guys no matter what, while we keep throwing each other to the wolves at every opportunity. Great plan!" And then someone named Han Shaughnessy said in response to this tweet, "I'd rather lose than unite with the alt-right." And Matt Walsh said in response to Han Shaughnessy, "I'd rather lose. Yeah, I know. I'd rather win. Civilization itself is at stake. I'll take winning." So according to Matt Walsh, we need to, as Christians and conservatives, unite with the woke right, and we need to stop criticizing them, at least publicly, and just unite with them, because that's the only way we're going to defeat the left and save civilization itself. Because after all, the left is just sticking together, and they're not criticizing their camp at all. They're not criticizing their radicals at all. That's the way forward, says Matt Walsh. Well, there's lots of problems with that. In response to his tweet you just saw on screen, I said, "The strategy you're advocating for was applied by the left, and it cost them big time in the 2024 election season. Why are you so desperate to apply a losing strategy to our camp?" And that's the issue, ladies and gentlemen. The left already tried this in the 2024 election season, in the lead up to it. They united with the woke element of their camp. They refused to publicly, at least, criticize them regarding their extremist rhetoric that was turning people off. They allowed the woke left to take over the party. And in the 2024 election season, it cost them really bad. How bad? Well, let's see. The GOP has the majority of the House of Representatives. The GOP has the majority of the Senate. The GOP has the majority of governors in terms of the governors in our country that run each of the states. I've heard that the GOP controls most of the House of Representatives in each of the states. And Donald Trump won the 2024 election not just by winning the Electoral College by a wide margin, but he even won the popular vote by roughly 2 million votes, give or take. It has been decades since a Republican won the popular vote as well as the Electoral College vote when winning a presidential election. So though we gotta stand united no matter what approach that Matt Walsh is advocating for, that was tried by the left, and it cost them big time last year in election season. It is literally a losing strategy, and yet Matt Walsh says we have to adopt this losing strategy in order to win. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. But it gets better, because No Soup for Knowles recently shared a video by Ben Shapiro that I retweeted, as you can see. And in this minute 51-second video, we see Ben Shapiro say the following in regards to Matt Walsh's idea that we must unite with the woke right in order to win.
There's this weird idea on the right that the left wins because they're totally unified and they completely side with one another. The left is not winning. I know that we are sort of a depressive right, that we've gotten addicted to the depressive. The left is not winning. Donald Trump has been president those times. 2 times. Republicans are in control of the Senate. Republicans are in control of the House. Republicans are in control of the majority of governors' mansions. Republicans are in control of the majority of state legislatures. The left is not winning because of their unity. They are being destroyed because of the thing I'm talking about happening on the right. Because they decided that the nut jobs and the radicals in their own party could not be condemned under any circumstances. They decided to feature Ilhan Omar on the cover of magazines and unite around the crazy college protesters and the BLM rioters and the transgender radicals. And guess what? They got their asses kicked because of it. Yes, they didn't expel people from their party, but moderates walked away. The non-crazy walked away. This is the dirty little secret of how Donald Trump won the election of 2024. He ran as a moderate. People who were moderate picked him above the unified left that was siding with all of their radicals and defending all of their radicals and massaging all of their radicals. Because it turns out this is a very big country with an awful lot of people. And the vast majority of them are not loon bags. And the vast majority of them don't like the lunacy. And beyond that, we need to be real about the agenda of many of the people who are continuing to rely on the kindness of the quote-unquote traditional Republicans who quote-unquote don't want to attack right. Marjorie Taylor Greene is dividing the Republican Party, not the people criticizing Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is attacking the president day in and day out. Who's dividing the party? The people who mention it or Marjorie Taylor Greene?
So, as we saw in that video, Ben Shapiro, without addressing Matt Walsh directly, absolutely destroys Matt Walsh's call for the right to stop criticizing the woke right and to unite with them in order to defeat the woke left by pointing out what I pointed out, that the left already tried this strategy. It cost them big time in last year's election season, and therefore it is absolute lunacy for Matt Walsh to say that the right needs to adopt this losing strategy in order to win future elections. The irony, too, of Ben Shapiro saying this is that Ben Shapiro runs the Daily Wire. Matt Walsh works for the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro is Matt Walsh's boss, as far as I'm aware. And so basically his boss is telling him indirectly that his idea that the right needs to stop criticizing the woke element of their side and to unite with them, he's pointing out that it's a horrible idea. So the irony of Ben Shapiro saying all this when he is Matt Walsh's boss is rich. Let's see what other people had to say, though, about Matt Walsh's call for the right to stop criticizing the woke right and to unite with them. Seth Dillon says, he can draw his lines where he wants to. What's silly is to suggest that we need to team up with terrible people who hate minorities, women, the Constitution, etc. in order to win. No one has explained why we need them or how their bigotry helps us. Well said, Seth Dillon. Well said. Rabbi S. Litvin said, I want to understand, Matt Walsh. Are you suggesting Erica Kirk and Andrew Colvett should unite with Candace Owens and Ian Carroll, who accused them of murdering Charlie? Should Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager, both who were among Charlie's biggest influences, unite with Tucker Carlson and his demented hyena laugh blood libel of Cumis-eating Jews? This is the tweet version of kneeling in a net cloth, and it's pathetic. You want unity? Let's unite around values and reject those who have none. Billboard Chris said in response to Matt Walsh, I'm not sticking together with every extremist on the right. The left's mistake is sticking together with the far left who are determined to die on the hill of child sterilization, mutilation, preborn baby killing up until birth, communism, and destruction of our rights and freedoms. Sticking together with extremists is a recipe for disaster. The white supremacists, conspiracy nuts, and Jew haters on the right should be shamed and shunned. Micah Olson said in a deeper analysis of Matt Walsh's idea, I think one of the primary reasons Matt Walsh assumes the radical right isn't as evil or anti-human as the radical left comes down to a simple fact. He's not on the receiving end of their evil. He's not getting the death threats from them, like people such as myself, Seth Dillon, Conceptual James, Ben Shapiro, Joel Berry, Wasson Watch, Abby the Lib, and many others face on a daily basis. Because he's not experiencing it up close and personal, he assumes it doesn't exist. This is shockingly naive on Matt's part. Another factor is that the radical right doesn't currently have the same kind of institutional power the radical left does, but I guarantee you, if the radical right ever gained that level of power, we'd see human catastrophe unlike anything this country has ever experienced. These people are militant, angry, barbaric, vengeful, and bloodthirsty. They're quite literally psychopaths, as Jordan Peterson rightly noted. They're every bit as evil as the left-wing radicals. Micah Olson then said in another tweet responding to this issue, the two reasons Matt Walsh has given us so far as to why he's uniting with the woke right is, 1, to defeat the left, 2, loyalty to friends. Here's why both of those don't hold up. Number 1, siding with radicals in our ranks, the right, will ensure we lose. This is what beat the left. They abandoned the normies for the radicals, and now queers for Palestine and LGBTQ madness reigns. They have made themselves unelectable. If we embrace the people in our ranks, rehabbing Adolf and calling for an American Caesar, the total destruction of our constitutional order as we know it, then we will suffer the same fate. 2, loyalty is only as good as the truth itself. Ask yourself, what if my friend is in sin? What if he's doing something harmful? What if he's, wrong? Do I shut my mouth and take his side? Is that even being a good friend? Scripture tells us faithful are the wounds of a friend. It also warns us of the kiss of the enemy. In other words, it's often your friends who hold you to account even when it's not what you want. and it's your enemies that love bomb you for their own pragmatic purposes. Ironically, Matt is abandoning his true friends, real, authentic conservatives, for radicals who are stroking his ego now, but will be the first to eat him alive given the first opportunity. Point is, neither excuse holds up. Both will end in the exact opposite of what Matt thinks. Now notice at the end there how Micah is pointing out that Matt Walsh is abandoning his true friends for radicals who are currently stroking his ego. In a follow-up tweet, he said, "He told us yesterday his primary principle is winning." In other words, he doesn't really seem to have principles, is what this is coming down to, unfortunately. He's telling us who he is, so I'm going to believe him. He'll fit right in with the canvases of the right. So basically, Matt Walsh has no principles. Winning at all costs, which is what the woke left believes in, is what is most important to Matt. So he is literally willing to turn a blind eye to the evil of the woke right and unite with them because he thinks this is somehow going to get us wins. Even though this exact strategy just cost the left in the 2024 election season, somehow Matt Walsh thinks this losing strategy is going to be a winning strategy if the right wing adopts it. In other words, the right wing needs to become like the left wing. We need to unite with the woke right in order to win, and we can't publicly criticize them. Matt Walsh abandoning his principles like this really doesn't surprise me because he's been abandoning his principles for years. In case you didn't know, Matt Walsh identifies as, at least he did at one point, a Christian. And back in 2018, I put out a video titled Matt Walsh Rejects the Bible as His Ultimate Authority, where I respond to a Matt Walsh segment or Matt Walsh media of some kind, where he essentially rejected the Bible as his ultimate authority, although not in those specific words. You can watch this video in the description box down below in case you want to see more details on this. But not only did Matt Walsh reject biblical authority, but because he does reject biblical authority, he turned around and rejected what the Bible says on origins, which is young earth creationism. And I detail his arguments against young earth creationism and why they are wrong in my old video, Debunking Matt Walsh's Arguments Against Young Earth Creationism, Part 1. There was never a Part 2 because I never got around to doing it, and it's just long past. But Part 1 still exists, and you can go watch this video for yourself. Link to it will be in the description box below. But what's the point of me sharing this? Well, the point of me sharing this is that Matt Walsh claims to be a Christian, and yet he's willing to reject the Bible as the ultimate authority of his life, which in turn led to him rejecting what the Bible says on origins in order to embrace some form of old earth creationism. And because Matt Walsh is like that with his faith, it comes as no surprise whatsoever that he's willing to abandon his political principles in order to win, in order to unite with the woke right and refuse to criticize them. Matt Walsh, at the trajectory that he's going, and the woke right, the Christian nationalists have been saying this for quite a while now, Matt Walsh on his current trajectory is going to end up becoming a Christian nationalist and a member of the woke right. And therefore, because he's currently on that trajectory, I'm going to include this video in my Christian Nationalism Mind Virus Exposed playlist, where you can see a wide variety of people who have been infected by the Christian nationalism mind virus. People like Andrew Torba, Joshua Hames, Mark Dice, Mike Adams, Tucker Carlson, and Steven Anderson. And it's only a matter of time before Matt Walsh is part of their crowd, and so we'll put this video in the playlist, and then when and if Matt Walsh becomes a member of the Christian nationalism movement officially, we'll put more videos about him in this playlist. Link to this playlist will also be in the description box below, as well as in the end credits. And with that, I think you guys are good. I think we can see that Matt Walsh and his call for conservatives and Christians to unite with the woke right are complete and utter lunacy.